Welcome back to No Smoke Sports. If you guys hadn't already came and checked us out, go check us out at sharpshq.com. Again, that's sharpshq.com. And with that said, let's get into today's video.
Oregon Ducks 2025 schedule preview. Can they repeat as Big Ten champs? The Oregon Ducks just made history. In their very first season in the Big Ten, they didn't just compete, they conquered. A 13-1 record, a Big Ten championship after a thrilling 45-37 win over Penn State, and the #1 seed in the inaugural 12-team college football playoff. But after a tough 41-21 loss to Ohio State in the Rose Bowl, the question now is simple. Can the Ducks do it again in 2025? With head coach Dan Lanning at the helm, Oregon faces a new set of challenges. Some of last year's stars have moved on, but new talent is ready to step up. The 2025 schedule is out, and it's a gauntlet. Let's break it down, game by game, and see if Oregon has what it takes to defend their Big Ten crown. Here's the full 2025 schedule according to official releases. August 30th, Montana State comes to Eugene. September 6th, Oklahoma State visits Autzen Stadium. September 13th, the Ducks travel to Northwestern. September 20th is the Civil War at home against Oregon State. September 28th, a huge road test at Penn State. October 11th, Indiana comes to Eugene. October 18th, Oregon heads east to face Rutgers. October 25th, Wisconsin visits Autzen. November 8th, the Ducks travel to Iowa. November 15th, Minnesota comes to town. November 22nd, it's a showdown with USC at home. And finally, November 29th, the Ducks close the regular season on the road at Washington. That's 12 games, 7 Big Ten matchups, and 5 high-profile non-conference contests. Every week, the stakes get higher. Let's start with the non-conference slate. These are must-win games if Oregon wants to stay in the national title conversation. First up, Montana State on August 30th. On paper, it's a manageable opener, but don't overlook the FCS champions. Catching a team like that early can be tricky, and this game will set the tone for the season. Then, on September 6th, Oklahoma State comes to Eugene. This is a true Power 5 test right out of the gate. If Oregon can win here, it sends a message to the rest of the country. The Ducks are for real, and they're aiming for another playoff run. September 20th brings the Civil War against Oregon State. This rivalry is always heated, and with the game in Eugene, pride is on the line. No matter the records, this one always matters. Now let's talk about the Big Ten opener. On September 13th, Oregon travels to Northwestern. After winning the Big Ten last year, opening conference play on the road adds a layer of pressure. This is a litmus test for how sharp the Ducks are coming out of the gate. But the biggest game of the season might just be September 28th at Penn State. This is the epic rematch everyone's waiting for. Oregon heads to Happy Valley to face a reloaded Penn State team, bringing back running backs Nick Singleton and Katrin Allen, plus quarterback Drew Aller. If this game were in Eugene, Ducks fans would feel a lot more confident. But it's scheduled for 4:30 p.m. Pacific in Pennsylvania, and Penn State is planning a whiteout. That atmosphere will be electric, and a win here would validate Oregon's championship claim. The schedule also features 2 well-placed bye weeks, one after the Penn State game and another after Wisconsin. These byes give Oregon some breathing room before grueling stretches and could be crucial for keeping the team healthy and focused. Let's look at the home tests. Wisconsin, Minnesota, and USC all come to Autzen Stadium. These are seasoned Big Ten foes, and each game offers a chance for playoff-enhancing victories. The USC Trojans, in particular, have struggled against Oregon in recent years. Their last win over the Ducks was back in 2016. USC coach Lincoln Riley is entering his 4th year, and after a strong showing in the transfer portal, the Trojans look more dangerous than ever. That November matchup in Eugene could have major playoff implications. On the road, Oregon faces Rutgers, Iowa, and Washington. These late-season away games will test the Ducks' ability to win in tough environments. Iowa, for example, will debut transfer quarterback Mark Gronowski, who found success at South Dakota State. They've reloaded at running back, and their offensive line looks much improved. A noon game in Iowa City might seem manageable, especially coming off a bye, but the Hawkeyes are always tough at home and have retooled to stay competitive. And then there's Washington. The regular season finale in Seattle is always a war. The rivalry, the atmosphere, the stakes, everything is amplified. This game could decide not just bragging rights, but playoff seeding. Now let's focus on the players and team dynamics. At quarterback, all eyes are on Dante Moore. After a rocky exit from UCLA, Moore transfers in and finds himself behind a top-tier offensive line with plenty of playmakers. Early touchdowns in spring practice have fans excited, and if Moore can bring consistency, he could be the key to another championship run. On defense, Matayo Uyagalele returns as an all-Big Ten edge linebacker. With 10.5 sacks in 2024, he's a proven leader and a critical piece as the defense adjusts to new faces and new challenges. How tough is Oregon's schedule? According to Off Tackle Empire, it's the 13th toughest in the conference. The Ducks miss Ohio State in the regular season, but still have to navigate Penn State, Iowa, Washington, and more. SB Nation's preview ranks Oregon at the top of the Big Ten preseason board, citing their roster depth and key returning talent. But the competition is fierce. Penn State, Ohio State, and Indiana all loom as potential juggernauts. Analysts are already touting Penn State as next year's Big Ten national title favorite. So what are the best and worst case scenarios for Oregon? Best case, the Ducks start 5-0 in non-conference play, string together conference wins, including a key victory at Penn State, and roll into the college football playoff, repeating last year's dominance. Worst case, inconsistent quarterback play, struggles in hostile environments, and losses to teams like Northwestern, Penn State, Iowa, or Washington. If that happens, their playoff hopes could slip away. What do the odds makers think? Circa Sportz sets Oregon's over-under at 10.5 wins, matching Ohio State. The Ducks are favored to hit that mark, but there's no clear path to perfection. FanDuel agrees, with only Ohio State projecting better odds to win the Big Ten. Analysts like College Football News expect Oregon to reach the playoff again and at least secure a playoff victory. So, can they repeat? The answer is yes. If Dante Moore provides stable quarterback play, the defense sustains its intensity, and Oregon grabs key wins, especially at Penn State against Oklahoma State and in those late conference games. Continuity under Dan Lanning, now in his fourth year, will be a major factor. But challenges abound. Hostile venues, a more polished Penn State and Ohio State lurking in the conference, and the pressure of repeating success will test this team every week. In conclusion, Oregon's 2025 schedule is a gauntlet. It starts with non-conference fireworks, builds to a high-stakes rematch at Penn State, and winds through a series of Big Ten battles with major playoff and rivalry implications. With returning stars, a massive home slate, and strategic bye weeks, the Ducks are positioned for another high-octane season. But with depth tested, road adversity looming, and national attention sharper than ever, this team must stay focused to earn a second straight Big Ten crown, and maybe even more. What do you think? Can the Ducks do it again, or will the Big Ten crown find a new home? Drop your predictions in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe for more college football breakdowns all season long. Go Ducks!